Hey there, fellow heroes. It is I, Mr. U, and this is the Master Maneuver. This is the time where I use my brains and my smarts and my experience as a fighter of crime and use that in a board game setting and see if I can indeed master the maneuver that shall win me the game. This is the third time that I've done this, and it's been a lot of fun so far. So I will keep doing it every Friday at 4 o'clock if time allows. When I am not playing board games, I'm usually reading comic books. At Comic Hero University, every Wednesday we receive new comic books, and this Wednesday we received quite the plethora of comic books. Spider-Man Superman #1, released to much fanfare. What a lot of people don't tend to know about that particular book is that is actually the second issue of the Spider-Man Superman crossover. The one that came out prior, the Superman Spider-Man book, was actually the first part. And I know it's very confusing when you're looking at the titles. You got Spider-Man Superman, and then you got Superman Spider-Man. But it's no different than what happened before with the Batman Deadpool and the Deadpool Batman. Those are two very different titles, very different books. So when you pick up those books, you know that they have and incorporate different stories. So Spider-Man Superman came out. This is the fourth book of the DC Marvel crossover titles. The dogs are barking. I'm curious as to see what they're barking at the neighbors. It's what dogs do, and they enjoy barking at the neighbors. So Spider-Man Superman is the fourth of the brand new DC Marvel crossovers. If you haven't picked up the books because you thought that you already had it, well, you're going to have to go to your local comic shop and pick up the most recent issue, because it is indeed the next issue of the book. And that's kind of one of the biggest challenges that we've had with this DC Marvel crossover, is that people just tend not to understand, because of the titling, that it's not a second printing, that it is indeed a subsequent issue or brand new storyline. It's not a continuation. It's just because they're both labeled #1, people just again assume that it's a second printing. But Mr. U is here to tell you that that is not the case. I really wish that Marvel and DC would do a little bit better and fix this particular problem. But until such a time, this is just how it's going to be. So 4 different unique books: Batman Deadpool, Deadpool Batman, Superman Spider-Man, Spider-Man Superman. And Spider-Man Superman came out this Wednesday, so a couple days ago. And speaking of Spider-Man news, the final issue of the Death Spiral book came out, which was, I believe, a 9-part series that crossed over with the Venom series, and if it was still running, the Eddie Brock Carnage series. The storyline follows a serial killer by the name of Torment, who looks to kill off a large number of people that are related to his main target. So like, Peter Parker, he wants to kill off any person who could potentially be related to Peter Parker, and then at the very end of it, kill off his main target, thus closing the spiral, which is why the book is called Death Spiral. However, the serial killer had started by killing off the family members of Eddie Brock, Peter Parker, and Mary Jane Watson, so the Death Spiral was much larger, and he wanted to, create this magnum opus where he eliminated all these, family members before he, killed off these 3 heroes. And it was all due to the fact that Carnage had discovered who was under the Spider-Man mask, and he leaked that information to this serial killer, and this killer went crazy and started going nuts. It was a decent storyline. I would give it a B-. I've definitely read better, and I've definitely read worse. But I think it's worth giving it a try if you're a Spider-Man and Venom fan. This was a breath of fresh air from what's been coming out previously, and so I would recommend it. I enjoyed it if you're into the superhero stuff. If you're not into superhero stuff, you can always ask me questions on our Discord channel, which I will put somewhere on YouTube, or you can follow us on the Facebooks and the Instagrams, and we can give you that information, communicate with me, and I can help you out with any sort of title that you're looking to find. So, as I mentioned before, at the very beginning, that when I'm not reading comic books, I am playing board games. Well, that's what we are here for. So I'm done talking about comic books. Let's talk about board games. And today we're going to be playing Final Girl, which is a great solo player game which is inspired by horror movies of the 80s, 90s, 2000s. And the one that I'm playing in particular today is the Frightmare on Maple Lane. The title would probably give you an idea as to what we're doing. It is an homage to Nightmare on Elm Street. We'll be fighting the killer Dr. Fright on Maple Lane. The neat thing about Final Girl, one of the things I really enjoy about it, outside of just the theme, is that you can mix and match a lot of these killers and locations. So if you've seen the previous streams before, we did the Happy Trails Horror, which found us fighting against Hans in Camp Happy Trails. And then we did Carnage at the Carnival, which had us fighting Geppetto at the, I think it's the Carnival of Evil or something or other. And you can take those killers and put them in different locations. So the more of these games that you have, the more combinations that you have before you start, repeating. It's a solo player game, which makes it great to be playing on streams. And if you are into board games, if you are into horror games, then I highly recommend that you try out Final Girl. If you are local to the Comic Hero University, then feel free to come into the store where we have the entire catalog of Final Girl, save for the Christmas, the Christmas special feature box. Outside of that, we should have everything available. And, you talk to whoever's there. We'll do what we can to ensure that you get what you want. But I've already taken the time to get everything set so we can kind of just jump right into the action. I'll explain a couple of the special rules that we have in front of us. But the table is set. The mask is on. Let's ring the bell. And on to our main event. So here we have Maple Lane, and here we have Dr. Fright. The interesting thing about Maple Lane that is different from all the previous locations is that Maple Lane has 4 spaces that we can search in. Now, this is a neighborhood setting, so you have all these houses, so, it's just quiet little sleepy town. And each house is a space that we can search in. Once you search in that house, you found the item that the people were keeping. They were keeping in the home, so you can't search that space again. So if we searched here, we'll put a little token that let us know that we already searched there, so we can't search that place again. The other thing to keep in mind about Maple Lane is that in order for us to enter a house that has people in it, so if we want to go and rescue somebody, we have to first convince them. So there's a special card that we have to play, and then we roll, and depending on what we roll, will dictate whether we're able to enter the house because we've convinced the people that, hey, there is a serial killer on the loose, and we need to get you out of the house, or let me search, or whatever, so that maybe I can find something to defeat the killer. Those are the only real special rules that we have in Maple Lane. So that's pretty simple to keep in mind. Dr. Fright, on the other hand, he's the nightmare demon. He's the magic man. He is going to kill us in the dreams. So there is a special card, or a special deck, I should say, that we involve with Dr. Fright. This is the Awake and the Asleep deck. We start the game awake, but there might be some cards or certain things that will make us go to sleep. While we're awake, we cannot attack Dr. Fright, and Dr. Fright cannot attack us. So we're perfectly safe from Dr. Fright. However, Dr. Fright can kill all of the victims. So the victims are not safe. So we have to do what we can to keep them away from Dr. Fright. Otherwise, he's just going to start slaughtering all these poor civilians. In order for us to fall asleep, we can either let that be dictated by the terror deck, or we can play a short rest or a long rest. Once we do that, we flip over this card into the asleep side, into the asleep side. But the way it would work is we would just slip it underneath the deck like this, and then we flip the deck over. So now what this does is we have this very unique deck that will tell us that we are inside the dream where Dr. Fright lives. Once we're asleep, we can start attacking Dr. Fright, but he can start attacking us. And in every terror phase, we have to reveal a quadrant of one of these cards, so either the top quadrant, the bottom quadrant, left or right. If Dr. Fright's face is in one of those quadrants, then we take damage dictated on what damage he's doing on the bloodlust track. If we escape the boiler room, there are 4 cards. If we escape the boiler room, then we wake up and we can go back to doing things while we're awake. The other thing that we can that we'll keep in mind is that we cannot rescue victims while we are asleep. Right? I mean, we're in the dream, we're traveling the dream, and the victims aren't going to follow us because they don't see us. However, we can search the houses while we are asleep. It's like the idea that we're manifesting something in the dream and bringing it with us into the physical realm. And so with that in mind, let's take a look at some of the item cards that we can find in one of the houses. So in the northwest quadrant of the Maple Lane neighborhood, we have a Bible. The Bible says we get to roll 2 additional dice when resolving a convince action card. This is not a one-use card. We can use this card over and over again, and so basically it makes it look like we're Jehovah's Witness or Mormons, and for whatever reason we get extra dice to solve or to get into the houses because people will trust us a little bit more. In the southwest quadrant of the neighborhood, we have a machete. So we have a weapon right off the bat. Now the machete does 2 extra damage. It is a one-handed item. However, the problem with the machete is that the victims will not follow us while we have the machete in our hand. So this might be something that we will want to get a little bit further into the game, because if we get it early on, we will not be able to equip it because the victims won't follow us. In the northeast quadrant, we have a rifle. The rifle is a 2-handed item. It does 2 damage, and it comes with 2 uses. And the rifle cannot modify an action card and must be used without one. So basically, we just use it. You spend a time to make a horror roll, and for every success, you deal 2 damage to, or a success means we deal 2 damage to one enemy on a street within range. So, okay, so we spend a time to make a horror roll. Is it for each success we deal 2 damage to one enemy, or no? It's just. Let's see here. Yeah, horror roll success. Deal 2 damage to one. I think we just need to have 1 success to deal 2 damage to one enemy on a street space within range. I feel like if we were rolling 6 dice, let's say, and we got all successes, that would be 12 damage. I'm pretty sure we just have to. Yeah, I think the success would indicate whether or not we were able to get him in our sights and then hit him with the bullet. That's how I'm going to play it, because I think it would be very overpowered otherwise if we were doing 2 damage for every star that you get. And I will clarify that after the game. And then finally, in the southeast quadrant, we have the crucifix. This is a one-handed item. We discard it to ignore any horror level increase or end an enemy's movement when they're in an adjacent space. So if for whatever reason the track, or rather something happens that makes us increase our horror, we can discard that card so that we keep our horror where it is. The more the horror increases, the more afraid we are, the less dice we roll. So if we are able to keep our heads together and keep the horror track in the green, then we could roll more dice because we're keeping our heads on tight and we are essentially mastering the maneuver. Okay, that is everything that we need to know about the bad guys. So let's do an event card, because I always forget an event card. And then I'll take my starting action. Oh, you know what? We never even mentioned the final girl. That might be important. So the final girl we're playing as in this game is the final girl, Sheila. This is what Sheila looks like. So Sheila has 6 slots to rescue victims in. If we take the first spot, we take an improvised action card. The second slot is a long rest action. The third slot decreases horror. The fourth slot increases time by 2. The fifth slot lets us move a space. And the final slot heals us by 2. Now, when she has rescued 6 victims, she gets her ultimate power. And this is Sheila a little on the beaten up side. You know, poor girl. So what we can do is we get 2 time instead of 1 when we discard action cards face down for time. So when we are looking at a particular moment where we feel that we might want to discard a card for time, usually you get 1 time for the card that you discard. However, if we have a special power, we would get 2 time instead of the 1. So that could be very helpful when we want to get a card like Critical Blow or multiple cards, Furious Strike and a Retaliate or whatever. We can get more time if we have a bunch of dead cards in our hands. So that all being said, let's flip over the event card and let's see if Mr. U can master the maneuver today. So our event card, boy, we're starting off real good here. We have a fire. Roll a die and place the fire token in the boyfriend's house or the Smalley's house. Any victims in the house or that panic into the house are killed. You or enemies in the house take a damage. The house may no longer be entered or searched. Okay, now this could really, really be terrible for us. We have 3 people partying in the Smalley's house. This is Garth and Teresa, who invited Robert over for dinner, and they're having a horror movie night. The boyfriend's house is empty because the boyfriend is out getting milk to make cookies with or something. So the boyfriend is out on an errand, so hopefully we can roll a 1, 2, or a 3. And if we roll a 1, 2, or 3, a fire goes in the space, and we can no longer search this particular space, but we can still search these 2 in the northeast quadrant. So one of the items in the northeast quadrant will never be seen. So let's believe in the heart of the dice and hope. Well, we don't have to hope. We're going to believe. This is the master maneuver, that I'm going to get a 1, 2, or 3. Well, I typically roll low anyway, so let's start off with a low roll. Okay, we got a 1. That's exactly what we want. And because I believed in myself and I eat my vegetables, we got ourselves the result we were looking for. I manifested it. So the fire goes into the boyfriend's house. There were no victims in that house, so nobody was killed, thankfully, because again, if we had killed these guys, the horror track goes, or the bloodlust track would go up by 3, and that right at the start of the game could be a very big problem. And so we're done with that. That's not something I have to worry about anymore. So that is a great start to our game. So let me take up my 0 action cards and let's figure out a strategy here. We want to start rescuing the victims, and the victims can escape via the north road, the south road here, the west road here, and the east road here. Dr. Fright, in his killer action card, he stays where he's at and then he attacks. So for this very first turn, outside of the terror card, he will stay where he's at, and if the terror card dictates that he moves, he will likely move into the Smalley's house. So and kill somebody. So I will probably try to rescue this little group of people. We've got Blake and Tiz playing in the street. So we're going to try to rescue Blake and Tiz and hope that Garth, Teresa, and Robert survive this first round. So we're going to start the game with a walk. We roll 2 dice. And let's see if we can't move a couple of spaces. Now, we could try to save the people in the Smalley house, or we can possibly just ignore the Smalleys, Garth and Teresa Smalley, and maybe rescue the people that are up in here. Well, we do want to get into the southwest quadrant. All right, let's see what we roll first, and then we'll figure out what the strategy is going to be. Okay, we got 1 success and 1 conversion. I'm not going to convert, so we get to move 1 space, and we decrease time by 1. So we're going to move into the intersection, and that'll be our first action. I typically like to keep a movement card in my hand so that in every turn I have the ability to move a space if I really needed to. The worst thing that you can do is essentially just kind of lock yourself up into a position where you don't have any sort of movement. So you want to, Tasmanian Tiz says she does the same. So you don't want to leave yourself in a position where you can't move. So usually I'll keep a walk, and then typically for the first few actions of the game, I like to purchase a sprint and keep a sprint and a walk. More mobility at the beginning of the game gives you the option to rescue more victims. The more victims you rescue, obviously the more powerful you become. The more victims that are killed, the more powerful the killer becomes. So, So you want to do the best thing for yourself and rescue as many victims. So I don't want to go to sleep yet. A weak attack is not going to do anything for me, so I'm going to try to focus to lower the horror track. 2 successes will give me 2 more time, which will put us at 7 time, which would be a good position for us to be in for the planning phase. So we'll see what we get. Hopefully we get at least 1 star, but 2 stars is the goal. Okay, so we got 1 success and 1 conversion. I don't feel the need to convert anything right now, just to keep cards in the hand in case I need to convert something a little more important later on down the line. So we decrease our horror by 1. That puts us at number 3. We decrease time by 1. That puts us at 4 time. That is everything I'm going to do in the turn. So in the next turn, what I would like to try to do is I would like to try to rescue some of these people. Man, there just really is not a good position. So there's an entry point here, an entry point here, an entry point here. So there's more. There's a larger possibility that we could potentially get more victims rescued. I think if we go this way, I think we're just gonna leave the Smalleys alone, and somebody will die. Someone will likely get killed here, but hopefully they panic out of the house, which would give me the opportunity to maybe sweep across the street and then rescue them. So that is my master maneuver at this particular moment in time. So now we have 4 time, and we can purchase a few cards. So I feel like we should purchase a sprint card, and we're not searching just yet. Although I want that machete. The Bible would also be very helpful in getting into these houses without getting beat up. But what do you think, heroes? What do you think? Should I go with a sprint, or should I get just 2 close calls? Or not a sprint, I'm sorry, a search. Or should I get the 2 close calls and just try to... Oh, wait. We can also get the convince cards. We're going to need the convince cards in order to get into those houses. I could buy both convince cards instead of the 2 close calls. And it is very possible that on this next turn, we're going to try to get into some of these houses. So maybe the convince is the better call. Yeah, I think, yeah, because I'm not gonna be searching. So Tasmanian Tiz says close call. Now I'm not gonna be searching by the second turn. Maybe by the third turn I'll be doing some searching. So close call would be a good card to purchase, but I feel the convince, maybe one of each. Let's do one convince. That's a good call. Let's do a convince and a close call. So those are my cards. I got 7 cards in my hand. The 0 cards go into the play area, and now we go into the killer phase. So the first thing that happens is Dr. Fright is going to target the nearest final girl or victim and attack. He's not moving, so he's just staying in the middle of the street, thinking what he's going to do, and then he swipes at the air. Nobody was there. See you later, guy. So let's see what the terror card is going to see. This is whether or not we find out if Garth, Teresa, or Robert, if one of them is gonna die in the dream. Okay, Frankie's coming for you. If there are no victims on the board, discard, but there are victims. So he is going to target the nearest victim, and he's going to move. So this is the most number of victims, so he's going to move into the Smalley's house. Good news is he's not killing anybody. The bad news is that if Dr. Fright is in a space with at least one victim, we increase horror by 2. So that puts our horror track up to 5. We're 2 spaces away from the red. Nobody was killed, which is good, but my horror track is going to suffer for it. So nobody was killed, so there's no panic phase. Nothing happens during the upkeep at the present moment in time. So then it goes back to us. So now we are in turn 2. All right, so we've got 2 victims in our space. So with 2 victims in our space, we have a walk card and we have a sprint card. We could rescue these 2 victims and then maybe try to make a run for this little house with the 3 people in the northeast quadrant. Where the rifle is, we could potentially purchase or try to... Let's see what we get before we make a plan. But the plan would probably be, let's go in here, let's rescue these people, go in that house, and maybe start the turn in that house. And then on the next turn, we can purchase a search and maybe get their rifle and try to rescue this little group of people. It's a bummer that we can only take 2 people, because it would be nice if we can just Pied Piper this whole little group out as well. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to go for a sprint. And let's see if we can maneuver our way to the exit with these 2 victims. This is Blake and Tiz right here playing in the street. Why they're playing in the street, I don't know, because Blake bought too much booze and he was throwing up, and Tiz is holding his hair so he doesn't puke on his hair. Okay, we've got 1 success on a sprint. 1 success moves us 2 spaces. So we're going to move 1 and 2. Blake and Tiz, come on, you guys are drunk. Let's get you guys home and safe. I mean, you guys don't even live on Maple Lane, so what are you doing? You live in Nebraska. What are you doing in Maple Lane? Okay, so Blake and Tiz have been rescued. Yay! Do I have a yay button? No, I don't have a yay button. Okay. So now we get to decrease time by 1, but now we get to figure out what we want to do with Sheila here. I don't think we need the long rest just yet. Improvise gives us... Improvise is a good card because it makes all... Yeah, you guys are playing chicken in traffic, and I saw that happening, so I decided to save you guys from yourselves. I mean, the threat wasn't even Dr. Fright. The threat was yourselves from playing chicken in the street with the cars. You guys should know better. Okay, so we can we can move 1 space, which would put us right in front of this house. And then we can walk into it if we only roll one success on the walk card. Oh, wait a minute. If I remember correctly, the convince also works as a movement. Yeah, enter an adjacent house. So we can save the walk card. We can use this one space to move us up one. Play the convince card to move into the house. And yeah, and then we can just stay there for that turn. So then the question is, what do we want for the second victim? Do we want to decrease our horror by 1, or do we want to increase time by 2? My horror is on 5, and my fear is the horror is going... if Dr. Fright kills one victim, the horror goes up by 1. So maybe by putting the other victim on the decreased horror, when the one victim will likely be killed on the next turn. Yeah, because Dr. Fright is definitely going to kill somebody with his action. That'll be a wash, and we'll keep the horror level at 5. So that's what we'll do. We'll move one space, and we'll decrease horror by 1. So Tiz has said so it shall be. So we are going to move one space here, and we're going to decrease horror by 1. All right, so now we're going to play a convince card. Now convince has a 3 success option, but we're not even going to come close because we only got 2 dice. So we're only on the 1. Yeah. So either 1 success or 2 success will get us into the house. If we roll no successes, we can enter the house. Someone is going to punch us in the face, and then we're going to end our turn. So we have a little like viewing party. So we have like Nate, Kara, and Mackenzie over here watching a movie. And I'm about to interrupt their movie. I'm going to try to, knock on the door and be polite, but we'll see what happens. So yeah, let's hope for 2 success. Okay, we got 1 success. 1 success means we enter the house and we lose a time. 2 success means we enter the house and basically nothing bad happens. I don't feel the need to convert anything as of yet. So I knocked on the door and I was like, hey guys, what are you watching? Is it cool if I come in and join you? And they take a look at me and they're like, Sheila, you look like a safe person. Why don't you come on in and join us for our movie or our game night or whatever it is that they're doing in that house. If you guys would like to dictate what they're doing in the house, well, then you can dictate what they're doing at the house. So time has now decreased to 4. The convince is gone. I don't want to walk out of that house yet because I want to search it on the next turn for the rifle. So we'll keep our walk. Let's do a focus. And see if we can't decrease the horror a little bit more. I am afraid that we're going to get some major horror penalties in this game, which we have not gotten in any previous incarnation of the games that I've played as of yet. So give me 1 success, baby. Okay, we got 1 success, which will decrease our horror by 1 and decrease our time by 1. Okay, I think we're done here. So we have 3 time to spend, and I think we should get the search card. I don't think we need a convince card right now, so maybe we get the search card and then that last close call. Let's see, we have a walk. We're going to get another walk in our hand. I don't think buying the sprint would be smart because we don't have enough time to buy the sprint and a search. So we're definitely going to get the search so we can get the rifle. But, I'm going to get the convince card only because the convince card also feels like it's doubling up as a movement card. And the one thing I've learned about Final Girl is that movement is very important. So we want to keep ourselves moving so that we can get closer to our objectives. So I'm going to buy that convince card, not for the purpose of convincing people, which is obviously going to be important, but for the sake of movement. Those are my 3 cards that I'm purchasing. Time goes back up to 6. I am now done. I also get my 0 cost cards, and then these cards go back into the tableau. Alright, we've got a decent set of cards in our hand, and now it's time for the killer to go. So the killer's going to target the nearest final girl or victim, and he's going to kill somebody. So we've got Garth and Teresa Smalley with Robert Tomilowicz over at the house, and I feel like Robert would probably intervene to protect people, and so he'll pull his gun out of his ankle holster and fire in the air, not realizing that Dr. Fright is impervious to his attacks, and thus getting himself killed. So Robert fires his gun and then gets himself killed. Ah! Sorry, Robert, you are dead, which increases our horror track by 1, thus increasing our horror by 1, which puts us at 4. Now, terror card time. Somebody else could potentially die here. So let's see what's going to happen. We are all going to die. This is doo-doo. This is a terrible card. The whole house is dead. So he targets Garth, because Garth tries to protect Teresa, and Garth gets killed. Ah! He's going to target another victim. He's already in the space with Teresa, and then Teresa gets killed. And that, if no victims were killed, we increase bloodlust by 2. Either way, the bloodlust got increased by 2. So this card is boo-boo. So we increase the bloodlust track by 2, which decreases our horror once again by 1, which puts us at the position that we started the turn in a little while ago. We are back at 5 and 2 spaces away. If we didn't do the focus and the horror, we would be in red, and we would be in very bad shape. So victims were killed, which now means panic phase, but there are no victims in the house because you quite literally killed everybody, Dr. Fright. You killed everybody in the small. All they were doing was just having a nice dinner, and you just went and wrecked it all for no reason whatsoever. I feel bad for you guys. I really do. I tried my best, but I knew somebody always has to die. All right, so no panic phase. There's nothing going on in the upkeep phase. It goes back to us. All right, so we're in the house with the rifle. Let's give ourselves a search and see if we can't get this rifle card. We'll get the rifle, and then we will walk out of the house and hopefully rescue a couple more people. That is my plan. Okay, so we got 1 success. 1 success means I take the top item card at your space. So we indeed have ourselves a rifle now. And so with the rifle has 2 uses. Once we use it twice, we can no longer use it anymore. But it does 2 damage. Dr. Fright has 9 health, so that will essentially bring him down to 5, so that's a little less damage that we have to do. Yeah, I don't need to convert because I don't want to look at the top 2 cards. I really didn't care about what else was in that deck, in that search deck. So now we're gonna go for some walkies. We're going to go for some walkies, and we're going to try to bring a couple of folks with us. Who do we have in that house? We had Nate, Kara, and Mackenzie. So I feel that, if I'm convincing these people to leave because there's a nightmare demon coming, that Nate would be like, I don't believe you. But if you guys feel so sure that there's something, why don't you 2 go? So Kara and Mackenzie are going to follow Sheila out. Nate will stay in the house, which I will have to convince him to let me back in if I have to go back into that house. Whoops. Okay, there's 1 success. That's good news. That was a success. I bashed that. That's a double success. 2 successes means we move 2 spaces. So we're going to go 1 and 2 with Kara and Mackenzie. So we have rescued Kara and Mackenzie. Now we have, oh wait a minute, that search cost me a time, that move is going to cost me a time, it puts us at 4 times. So we already have, we've already used the decrease horror and the move of space. So maybe, we haven't taken any damage yet, so we don't need to put anybody there. I don't want to go to sleep just yet. However, if I do go to sleep, we know Dr. Fright will likely be in the street. If I go to sleep, I may be able to shoot him, but I won't be able to rescue any more victims. I want to try to rescue at least 2 more victims. So that way we can get her ultimate power. Then we go into the sleep, and then we can maybe start doing some damage. However, I do also want to go into the southwest quadrant and get that machete once we rescue 2 more people. So what I'll do instead for now is I will get the improvise and the increased time by 2. We'll get the improvise card and increased time by 2. That puts us at 6 time. Improvise card, increased time by 2 puts us at 6. And what this is going to do for us is puts us in a good position here. We want to rescue 2 more people. Southeast quadrant has the crucifix, and the northeast quadrant has mystery item. I have a convince card in my hand. Yeah, I have a convince card in my hand, so we can use a convince card. The question is, where do we want to go? Do we want to try to get this crucifix? The crucifix is going to be good to ignore any horror level increase, or if Dr. Fright is going to move into our space, we make it so that he doesn't go into the space. So that's in the southeast quadrant. Over here we've got somebody by themselves. We'll say that this is Chase. Chase is hanging out here by himself with his crucifix. And then up over here we've got who do we got in the northeast quadrant? We've got Brian Newell. Brian Newell is sitting at home while his wife and kid are out shopping. So Brian Newell is in the northeast quadrant. We don't know what item Brian Newell has in his house, but maybe we want to get it. We know that Chase has a crucifix. So where do we want to go? Brian Newell's house with mystery item, or down to Chase's house and get the crucifix? What do you think, fellow heroes? What do you think? I'm open for either or, because realistically, neither of those items are anything that I actually need or want. So we're going to use the convince card here. But who are we convincing? Are we convincing Chase? We're going to convince Chase. We're going after the crucifix then. All right, Chase, my man, let's see if we can convince you to let us in your house. Hey, Chase, let me in your house. I've got Girl Scout cookies. And Chase says no. But we do have some cards that we can use for conversion. We can get rid of the short rest and the weak attack right now. We don't necessarily need those cards just yet. So I'm going to discard those 2 to turn this conversion into a success, which lets us enter his house, and we decrease time by 1. So now we are in Chase's house. This is where we'll basically end our turn here. We have 1 more focus, and then after the focus, we'll call it a day. So we're going to focus, and then we'll buy some cards. Okay, we've got 1 success on the focus, which decreases our horror by 1. That puts us at 4. Time goes down to 1. That puts us at 4 time. This is where we end our turn, so let's purchase some cards. Again, we're at the bottom. We're already here. Let's grab a search card. And I think we should grab ourselves a sprint card. And then with all of that movement, we can hopefully get ourselves over to this quadrant and hope that we can rescue this person down here. Who's this guy? This is We've got who do we got in this house? Somebody give me a name. Who do we got in this house? We're going to rescue Chase, but who is in the southwest quadrant that we want to rescue, that we could potentially rescue? This is Greg. We got Greg over here in the southwest quadrant. Greg is home visiting. This is Rachel. Okay, so this is Rachel. Rachel is home. She's not working at the Home Depot right now. So Rachel is chilling at her house. And we'll say that Greg is the guy. Greg is this dude up here. So we've got Chase here, Brian Newell here, Nate here. We've got Greg up here and Rachel down there. Okay, so we bought a search card and we'll get ourselves a sprint card. That's the 4th time that I have to spend in the planning phase. So now I also get this focus card. Yep, and then we put these cards back here. All right. So now it is the killer phase. So Dr. Fright, having killed 3 people in one turn, his bloodthirst has been quenched for now. He's going to sit in that room and he's going to attack if there's nobody there. However, let's see what the terror card brings. We get ourselves... It's too quiet. Gosh, man. What is with all this horror increase? Okay. And then he's going to target the final girl and move twice. He moves 4 spaces. So he's going to go 1, 2, 3, and 4. Now this blows. Because Chase will not follow me. Well, I don't know. Will he follow me? Because he is a nightmare demon and Chase doesn't see him. This is actually an interesting question. You may move around the board. I think we have to... Dr. Fright resolves killer action. It doesn't necessarily say anything about that. But the rules dictate that the victims do not follow you into the killer's space, which would indicate that the players do see the nightmare demon, but he's just like, he's visibly there, but they can't do anything about it. If the killer's in the same space as you, I decrease horror again, but he's not in my space. So again, this kind of, where did I just put my cards? There they are. So this kind of puts us in a position where we can't rescue Chase, which kind of sucks because that would have given us the 1 card to move into that space. No victims were killed, so no panic phase. There's nothing in the upkeep, so it goes back to us. Oh, boy. Okay, well, I guess we're just going to have to try to go to Rachel and Greg. Yeah, that's the one thing about these houses is that, there's one person, and so you can only rescue one person at a time. That's a bummer. Okay. So let us... Sorry, Chase. I'm going to have to leave you behind. Oh, first things first. We're in that house. Let's search it. Thanks for letting me in your house, Chase. Don't mind me. I'm just looking in your cabinets. We got 1 success, which means we take the top card of the item deck, which is the crucifix. Now, we have to put the crucifix in our hands in order to use it. So I'm going to do that because we're not attacking Dr. Fright just yet. So we take the crucifix, put the crucifix in our hand. We have searched. We decrease time by 1. And now we're going to get out of town. Sorry, Chaserama. You're going to sit put in your house, and then let's hope that Dr. Fright targets me again. We're going to try to make a dash across the neighborhood and see if we can't get into the southwest quadrant. We got 2 successes. Natural 2, baby. This is how you master the maneuver. So now we're going to go 1, 2, and 3. That puts us into the intersection. Dr. Fright can still catch us, but he just can't hit us. Then we're going to... Oh, I didn't even get a convince card. We can't get in there. So that decreases our time by 1. We will go for some walkies. going for some walkies. If we can get 2 stars, that'll put us in the spot we need to be in to either to get into one of these houses. That is, I think, the goal for us to try to rescue those last 2 guys. And I suppose if we need to, we can rescue those final 3, Nate, Brian, and Chase. But let's see if we can get Rachel and Greg. Okay, we've got a conversion card and a one-time card. I should have used improvise. We can play the close call and re-roll 1 die, or re-roll all dice and lose 2 time. What do you guys think? Should we just re-roll the one blank? We still have 2 cards that we could use for a conversion. Man, I should have used that improvise. I'm a dope. I just forgot that card was in my hand. I'm going to put that in the front of my deck. You know what? I'm just re-roll 1 die. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to try to re-roll 1 die. Let's see what happens. Okay, we got a success. That lets us move 1 space closer to the houses that we need to be in. We lose 1 time. That puts us at 3 times. This is, we can... We're going to get a walk on the next turn. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to play the focus as my last action because we're getting dangerously close to the red. This has been a tug of war with the horror level track. And let's hope for 2 stars. 2 stars gives us 2 more time. Oh. I'm going to reroll that one. That one was cocked. I pulled the Greggy on that one. But we did have 1 star, so that's good. Okay, and a conversion. I only got 1 card in my hand, so we will decrease horror by 1, decrease time by 1. And that will be that. So we have 2 time for our purchasing needs. We're going to have a walk card. We should get the convince card. In fact, we should probably get both convince cards so that the convince will let us move into one or the other since we're going to be right here. So I'm going to buy both convince cards, and that's my 2 time. I'm going to get a walk, a weak attack, a short rest, and a focus back. We don't necessarily need to sprint on this next turn. And the search card. Okay, now let's put that improvise at the front. I don't have a search card. So we'll go after Greg first and then come back down. And then maybe we'll end our turn in Rachel's house so that we can search here. So the plan of action is going to be we walk here, we convince him to let us do our thing. Oh, and then we're going to be stuck in that house until the next turn when we get another walk. And then we'll walk out, convince over here. So the next turn we're going to want to get a search card for sure because we will probably end up in this house depending on what Dr. Fright does. So Dr. Fright is going to stay where he's at and attack. Nothing happens. But let's see what happens with the horror card. Oh my goodness. Better lock the door. He's going to target the final girl and he's going to move. So he is now in the intersection. Then he's going to target the nearest victim or final girl and attack. But there's nobody there. So, well, you know what? That's actually pretty good. During the next action phase, you may not move into any search space occupied by a victim. So this specifically says search space. So I'm going to ask my fellow heroes what you think that means. These are house spaces, not search spaces, right? The iconography is different. That's a wrench. This is a house. Now, by definition, yeah, that says search space in the rules. Each house may be searched and counts as a search space. So never mind. I can't rescue anybody this turn. So there goes that plan out the door. Okay, well, no one was killed. We're back at the upkeep phase. That sucked. That card sucked. So we can't... Okay, you know what we can do, though? We can still go into the Smalley's house and search. Or at least just end our turn. End the turn in Smalley's house. So that's what we'll do. We'll just do that. Just to get us in the house so we can get that machete. Oh, no bueno. Okay, so we are going to take that fail. We're going to move a space to put ourselves in there. We're going to take a damage. It's the first damage we've taken this whole game, and then we're going to decrease time by 2. That, I think, is going to be it for us. We'll play a focus, and then see what happens on the next turn. Ah, man. Stupid victims. Okay, we got 1 success, which decreases our horror by 1, decreases time by 1. Alright. So now we're back in the spending phase. I think we're going to want that search card. And we've only got 3 times, so a close call it is. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. So this next turn, we get the walk and focus back. This next turn, we'll use the improvise for sure. Well, I guess depending on what happens. Okay, Dr. Fright stays where he is. He attacks. Oh, and we increase our time. Stays where he is and he attacks. Nobody's there, so nothing happens. So now we get... Oh my god, he's slicing off his own fingers. He's going to target the nearest final girl or victim, and he's going to move. But he can't hurt us, and I believe the rules specifically say that when I'm awake, he's going to target a victim. Dr. Fright takes damage unless he only has a final health token remaining. Oh, interesting. Okay, so he's going to go 1 and 2. Now, we said we wanted to rescue Rachel. So Dr. Fright is going to go up here with Greg. Then Dr. Fright takes damage unless he only has a final health token. So he cut his finger off. If Dr. Fright took damage, you increase horror by 3, and you and all victims in his space panic. Golly, man. That puts us at 6 horror on the horror track. So 1 more increase in horror will put us at 1 single die. This is terrible. Man. He is one scary dude. Okay, wait. Dr. Fright took damage, so we have to panic Greg. This might actually be good. Although Greg will only leave the house if we roll a 1 and a 2. So Greg decides to stay in the house. He doesn't actually see Dr. Fright. But he was the only one that would have panicked. So, okay. But nobody died, so no panic. Maybe we go and rescue Greg instead, since he's the one who is in danger. But let's see, do I have... Okay. We're going to use the improvise and see if we can't increase our chances for 2 movement. We want the 2 success. Oh my gosh. Okay, so we got a conversion. Let's get rid of... We can play a close call. That's what I'm going to do. We're going to do a close call. We're going to re-roll that 1. Okay, now we got a double conversion. So, we could convert 4 cards. 1, 2, 3. 1. We can convert... No, we want that search card. We can convert the focus, a short rest, a weak attack, and a convince We keep a search, a walk, and a convince. No, Greg is going to die, so I'm not going to rescue him no matter what. So I'm going to discard these 4 cards to get a double success, which means that from until the end of the phase, every 4 or 5 that I roll is considered a success. Or rather, every 3 and 4 is considered a success. Alright, so first things first is we're going to search. I'm going to regret not focusing. Pretty sure I'm going to regret that. Okay, so we got 1 success. 1 success lets us take the top item of the card. So we're just going to grab this machete. We'll equip it. No, we can't equip it because then the victims won't follow us. So we'll just put it in the backpack for now. And we decrease time by 1. Now we're going to go for a walk. Come on, double success. Let's go for 2 movement, please. What is going on here? I got 1 success, so that lets me move 1 space. Decrease time by 1. Alright. We're going to get a focus and a walk back. We got 4 time. So in the next turn, we'll see what happens. But in the next turn, we're going to want to move the 1 space, convince Rachel to let us in, then we're going to want to get out. Unless Dr. Fright is in that space. We're probably just going to keep running across the street. So we got 4 time. I think it might be time to start looking at some defense and attack cards. There are not that many victims left on the board. So I'm going to grab a sprint card. And I'm going to grab a guard card. We grab the walk and the focus, and then all these cards go back. Gosh, that was a terrible turn. Even with that improvised card. Okay, so killer turn. Time goes up to 6. Killer turn. Greg has been killed. I'm sorry, Greg. I'm sorry. The bloodlust goes up by 1, which now reveals his dark power. What power does Dr. Fright get? Each time Dr. Fright damages you, you increase horror by 1. I'm telling you, man, this game really does not want me to decrease horror at all. Okay, and terror card. Do the following based on how many victims have died. 4 victims have died. Bloodlust goes up by 2. This is terrible. 1 and 2. Which decreases our horror by 1. That puts us in the red. Now I'm rolling 1 die. Oh man, this is no good. So now he's going to target the nearest victim. He's going to move and he's going to attack. He's going to move 2 spaces. And Rachel has been killed. Which increases the bloodlust by 1. Oh! No! He is whooping my butt cheeks here. Okay, well the victim was killed, but there's nobody there to panic, so it looks like I'm going to have to try to rescue Chase, Brian, and Nate. We do have a sprint and a walk, a focus, and a convince. So, alright, heroes, who do you think we should rescue? Well, let's see what happens. Should I play the sprint? Yeah, let's play the sprint card. We're going to play the sprint card to get us over there. Let's see what happens. Okay, I'm rolling like just doo-doo right now. Oh, no. I think we should get rid of the focus and the walk. Oh, wait a minute. I can't roll 2 dice. So let me take this back. I think the first thing we should do is focus. I'm gonna re-roll. Take that little action back. So we're going to hope we decrease horror by 1. Okay, another conversion card. So, we're going to get rid of the walk and the guard card to convert that into a success, which decreases horror by 1, decreases time by 1, but we get 2 dice back to roll. Now we're going to go for a sprint card. Oh man, this is rough. This is rough. Oh my goodness. This is not going well, kiddies. I don't have any conversion cards, so I'm just going to have to take that big L. So we're going to move 1 space. We're going to take a damage, decrease time by 2, and then we end our turn here. We do have a convince card in our hand. Now I wonder if we should buy another sprint card. We're going to get a weak attack, a focus, a short rest, and a walk. Or if we should get a guard card and a close call, or a guard card and a convince. No, I think the sprint is the better option because it'll give us a better chance of getting to the end of the street. So I'm going to buy a sprint card and the last convince card because I'm going to need to move into these houses. I get all these other cards back. Oh man. I'm starting to doubt myself, and that's no good. When I doubt myself is when the dice start rolling like doo-doo. Okay, it is now Dr. Fright's turn. Dr. Fright is going to attack, and in his turn, or in his space, nobody is there. Then his terror card. They just got hit by a car. If there are no victims in any street spaces, discard and draw another terror card. Great. Slash her. He targets a victim or final girl in his space and attacks. Then he's going to target the nearest final girl and or victim. He's going to move. He moves 3 spaces. 1, 2, and 3. He's going to attack. All victims that are not in a search space panic. But all victims are in search spaces, so none of them panic. But he can't attack me. I can't attack him. So we get a brief respite on this turn. No panic, no upkeep, back to us. Okay, we have a walk and a sprint, and I think it would be smart of us to go for a walk. Let's go for a walk and see if we can't get into that first space and try to rescue Nate. 2 conversions, or I could just move up 1 space, take the damage, and lose 2 time, and keep the cards that I have because I feel I'm going to need them. So I'm going to move 1 space. I'm going to take another damage. He does 3 damage. He could kill him. Well, I'm still not sleeping yet, so he can't hurt me. Take the damage and decrease time by 2. That puts us at 4 time. Okay, so now we're going to try to convince Nate to let us into his house. He still doesn't believe that there's a killer out, but the killer has killed a bunch of people, and maybe we can convince Nate otherwise. Oh my gosh. Okay, we got another big fail. Okay, I have to convert something. Let's convert the weak attack and the short rest. Yeah, let's do that. To convert that into a success so that we can enter the house and decrease time by 1. That puts us at 3 time. Now, I think we should go for a sprint. I am rolling like utter dude. We like wasted all the good rolls at the start of the game. Now we're going to go for a sprint and see if we can't... I'm going to retire you guys. Let's use these dice. And see if we can't rescue Nate. Alright, come on. Just one success. One success, baby. Oh, my gosh. I can discard the focus and the convince to convert that last card into a success. That'll let us move 2 spaces. We lose 1 time. And then we rescue Nate. Nate was convinced that there is a killer, so we lose that sprint. I'm going to put this on the spot that gives us 2 hearts, since we're since Dr. Fright could quite literally kill us in 1 turn. Okay, we have 2 time. We get a focus and a walk. We had all the convince cards in our hand. I think we might want to get a guard card. Yeah, that's what I think I'm going to do. Get the guard card. I also have forgotten that I have the stupid crucifix in my hand. The crucifix and an enemy's movement when they're in an adjacent space, so I can prevent Dr. Fright from coming into my space. I only need to rescue 1 more person to get her extra ability. So we're probably going to try to rescue Chase, but I don't have a convince card to get into his house, so I'm just going to have to buy myself a turn. Alright, so let's see what happens. Dr. Fright attacks in the air. This is the final terror... No, there's 1 more terror card. Okay. Let's see what Dr. Fright does. If you are awake, roll a die. If the result is less than the current horror level, you fall asleep. If you are asleep, resolve a boiler room card, and if you take damage... Shit. Okay. So my horror level is 6. If the result is less than... I can't roll less than 6. I can't roll higher than 6. Result is less than the current horror level. So I have to roll a 6 exactly. If I roll a 6, then I don't fall asleep. I rolled a 3, so I have now fallen asleep. This guy has been very good at making me change my strategy. Okay, so I am now asleep. I cannot rescue anybody. And I also could have ignored any horror level increase too with the stupid crucifix. Okay. I don't want him to kill anybody else. So, he's going to target the nearest victim. He's going to move 3 spaces. So he's going to go 1, 2, and 3, but I will stop him right there. So that is discarded. I'll throw that over there. Okay, I don't know that I'm going to get an opportunity to rescue Chase and or Brian here. So I think I'm just going to equip the machete at this point now. Yeah, nobody was killed, so we ignore the panic face. He can start attacking me now. So yeah, I'm going to equip the machete. And I think it's time for us just to start going ham on each other. Yeah, because no victims were panicked. The upkeep phase, you reveal the finale if the tarot cards are left, but then you rearrange all the items. So that would have happened in the upkeep phase. So I can stay in the dream, or I can try to wake myself up by doing the boiler room mini game here. But I don't want to wake up just yet, I don't think. I mean, we might as well just start attacking. I don't know that... Do I even have a move? Yeah, I got a movement card, so I can move into his space. But then each time he damages me, I lose horror. Okay, so I've got a walk and a... I don't even have an attack card yet. And if he damages me in the boiler room, he does 3 damage, which I could try to prevent. Ooh, this is tough. This is tough. Okay, what do we do here? You know what? Instead of the machete, we use the rifle. That's what we do. The rifle cannot modify an action card and must be used without one. Spend time to make a horror roll. On a success, you deal 2 damage to one enemy on a street space within range. So, I've got 2 chances here. Yeah, we've got 2 chances. So this is what the rifle does. We can basically just shoot him 2 times. That'll take us 2 time. And on the next turn, I can buy a Furious Strike. I'm going to get the weak attack back. And another guard card. Yeah, so let's do that. Let's keep this weight where we're at. We're going to try and do some damage here. So we're going to use both bullets here. And then once those 2 bullets are done, this gun is done. So let's try to shoot Dr. Fright. If we can hit him twice, that's 4 damage that he takes. We just need 1 star. And this is the end of the turn for us. No, and then I will try to focus, and I'll keep this walk in the guard card. Oh my God. I can discard the walk and the focus. Yeah, let's do that. We remove that. He takes 2 damage. Okay. We're going to do the last... we're doing the last attack on the gun. I'll keep this guard card in my hand. And that is now 2 times. We're at 4 times. Oh my goodness. Woo boy, that was a big doo-doo. The gun blows up in my hand, so I was only able to do 2 damage to him. Yikes. Okay. We're going to get the weak attack. I think I should just maybe get the Furious Strike. Or we could... Yeah, I'm going to get the Furious Strike. I still have the guard card in my hand. And then let's see what happens. I am rolling like turds. Okay. So the killer goes. He stays where he's at. He doesn't do anything. Terror card. Let's see what we get. Oh, he's disgusting. Okay. Well, that increases horror by 2. Now, this is the first time that this has ever happened to me. So the horror track is on 6. We decrease it here, but we also have to decrease it 1 more time, which increases the bloodlust by 1. So, increase the bloodlust by 1, which increases our horror by 2. So we go 1 and 2, which now basically he's at the top. If asleep, reset the boiler room deck. Otherwise, you fall asleep. Well, the boiler room deck hasn't even been touched yet, but this is the first time that I will... Oh, yeah. So the next time, since I can't reveal a terror card, that's when the finale is going to come into place. That was the last terror card. But now we have to resolve one of the boiler rooms. Okay, so we can go up, down, left, right. We have no idea where he is on this track here. So I don't think that is going to matter here. I'm going to maybe see where the best space to put the cards here. Okay. Maybe we go left. What do you guys think? Left, right, up, or down? I'm thinking maybe we're going to want to go left. Left seems like a good call. However, if we mess up, he's going to hit me for 4, right? Because Dr. Fright, when he hits you in the boiler room, he hits you for the amount of damage that is equal to what his attack value is. Let's see. You cannot slide it in a direction you've already... you cannot slide it in a direction that would not reveal any card If there's an illustration of Dr. Fright visible, newly revealed card, he attacks you. It does not matter if he's currently in your space or not. He is able to, yeah, because it says target final girl and attack with that. So he's going to do 4 damage to me if we reveal him. And whenever he does damage, he's going to increase horror, which will reset the the boiler room. Okay, so we're going to go left. And there's no Dr. Fright there. So we took no damage. And we'll leave it like that. So nobody panics. During the upkeep phase, I'm moving the machete into my hand. He has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 hit points. Okay. I think we're gonna have to get in there. I don't have a convince card. So we're gonna walk into his space. I've got a Furious Strike and a Weak Attack. We'll Weak Attack first, and then we'll Furious Strike second. And then we'll focus left. Maybe we should focus first. We're going to focus first to see if we can get that extra die back. Come on, just 1 star, baby. 1 star. Okay, there we go. 1 star gives us 1 decrease in horror. Time is reduced by 1. Good job, good job. Okay. Now we're rolling 2 dice. Okay, first things first is we need to walk into his space. Okay, we've got 1 success. Now we're cooking with some butter. We're going to move into his space, and we're going to decrease time by 1. And then we're going to Weak Attack first, and then Furious Strike second. Because Furious Strike, if we get 1 success, we'll end our turn. So we're going to Weak Attack. Machete does 2 additional damage, so hopefully we can get at least 1 success to do 3 damage to him. Oh my god. Okay, we're going to discard the Short Rest and the Guard card. We should have enough time to buy a Retaliate. So we're going to turn that into a success. So we're going to do 3 damage to him. And he's going to do 1 damage back to us. Now this could be a problem because he hits for 4. However, we do have a Furious Strike in our hands. And if we can get this off, then we kill him. Hopefully, we kill him. Okay. This is the master maneuver here, folks. This is the make or break moment. Do I finish him off, or do I not? I believe in my strategy. I believe that I have mastered this maneuver. So I believe we're going to kill him. 1 star will get us a kill. 2 stars will get us an overkill. But it doesn't matter. This is the moment. This is the moment. This is the day. We got 1 success. So we do 3 damage. We decrease horror, and then the turn is over. But this is the moment of truth. Is this the end of Dr. Fright? Let's check the final health token and see. He has been killed! Holy cow. I didn't think we were going to do it. I was getting real concerned. But we have killed Dr. Fright. Dr. Fright is dead. Chase and Brian are alive. Poor Garth, Teresa, Robert, Rachel, and Greg are dead. But pretty brutal. That was pretty brutal. But as I've said before, you got to trust in yourself. And in trusting yourself, that is how you master the maneuver. Let's see. I'm just curious what my final token was. Ooh, I would have been tipped too. I would have been dead. 3 for 3, baby. 3 for 3. I'm curious what his finale card was. Everyone must die. kill 2 victims automatically. You may choose wish. If none remain, you lose 4 health. Holy crap. When this card is revealed, you remove Dr. Fright from the board and place him on this card. For the remainder of the game, Dr. Fright may be attacked from any space if you are asleep. But how does he attack me? Is he considered to be everywhere? Wow, that's a nutty card. Dr. Fright may be attacked from any space if you are asleep, which would presumably assume that he would attack me from anywhere, or a victim. Boy, oh boy, that is nasty. But he didn't get a chance to reveal it. We killed him on the 9th turn because we discarded 1 card. Let's see, were there any other weapons? That's all I ever care about as far as the item deck goes. There was an energy drink and then a megaphone. Once per action phase, you may move any 1 victim on the board 1 space. This actually would have been very, very helpful. Dr. Fright would have just gone into my space. This would have been very helpful in saving a whole bunch of people. And that was at the bottom of the southeast quadrant where Chase was. In the northeast quadrant where Brian Newell was, we have odds and ends. If you are in a house, you may place a booby trap token in it. If an enemy moves into the house, discard the token and the enemy takes 2 damage. Ooh, 3 uses. That's sexy. I like that one. Fireworks. You spend 2 time to place a fireworks token in your space. Whenever the killer must choose a target, they will choose the fireworks instead. Oh, that'd have been nice. But still, that booby trap. I like booby traps. I like boobies. There was another crucifix in the southwest quadrant where the machete was, and another crucifix. Boy, there are some religious people in that quadrant. And then in the northwest where the Bible was, we had, a pitchfork. 2-handed, 1 damage. Discard at any time to prevent the damage from a single attack. And we had a bicycle. Oh, the bicycle is good for movement. When you take this card, place the bicycle token on the street space adjacent to you. If you do not have any items in your hands and you're with the bicycle, you may move yourself and it to any other street space on the board once per turn. Wow, that would have been great for moving around the board. All right, kiddies. So next week, next Friday, the only 2 I have left in Season 1, the only 2 feature films is the Slaughter in the Grove and the Haunting of Creech Manor. Those are the hardest ones for me to do. I have never won Slaughter in the Groves against Ink and Yamba. I have won the Haunting at Creech Manor against the Poltergeist. So I think for next week, what I'll do is the Haunting of Creech Manor. I'll leave Slaughter in the Groves for the 5th video. Once we're done with that, I'll let the dice decide what location we'll play the birds in, and then we'll do the birds. And then after that, we'll start Season 2. But that is it for now, kiddies. So thank you, fellow heroes, for joining me. Tell your friends. Every Friday is the Master Maneuver. Coming up soon, I will be doing the Botched Maneuver, where I will be playing video games. But I'm terrible at video games, so you'll be able to laugh at me as I play horribly. Or maybe I do well. I don't know. We'll see. But if it has been any indication, and if the tears coming out of my nephew's face because he's laughing so hard at how pathetically bad I am at video games, if that is any indicator, I think the Botched Maneuver, we might be in for some entertainment. But until then, thank you so much for joining me. Thank you so much for the likes and subscribes or whatever. And follow my Discord channel where we can communicate in there what things you want to see. If I can do more videos throughout the week, I can potentially play other games. But I want to leave Final Girl for Fridays. And yeah, if I can make other videos throughout the week, then I will do so. But join the Discord if you want to find the Discord. I'll drop the link in the YouTube chat. I don't know how to do it on Twitch yet, or if I can figure it out, I'll put it in both places. And it is I'll put a QR code on my Instagram and Facebook, so you can use that to find the link. Other than that, thank you so much, fellow heroes. This is the Master Maneuver. This is Mr. U signing off after the big 1, 2, 3 that we have killed Dr. Fright. We have won the game. Thank you for joining me. We'll see you next week.